In this lesson, we'll learn how to add tags and categories to our posts. Overall, our post is starting to look pretty good. We've added our content, some headings, and even some images to start to spice this up and make it more visually interesting. But one thing we're lacking here on our blog is organization of these posts and also a way to help people find our content and search for the things they want to read about. We want to appear in those search results on the reader. So I'm going to switch over here to our edit post, and the way we can start to do some of these things is directly in this section. So on the right side, if you scroll down right under the format options, we're going to start by adding some categories. And categories are just a way to allow you to organize your posts into different subjects or different areas. So for example, if you're writing about movies, then maybe you'd want to sort and organize your blog into different genres. That way people, if they want to read about horror movies or comedies or something like that, you're giving them the ability to sort through a lot of content. And if you're just getting started and you can't really start to think of some categories that you might want to add, that's completely okay too. But if you do have a solid theme like we do, where it just makes sense to do that right off the bat, it's a really good thing to do. But it is optional if you don't feel like it's going to be helpful for what you're doing. Maybe you're writing a personal blog or something like that. Maybe in that sense it might not make as much sense, but you could also sort it by month or something like that and make that your category as well. So I'm going to start by adding a new category. It's just this little button right down here. And you're going to start by giving your category a name. So since mine's a travel food blog, I think it makes sense to sort by regions. That way people can narrow it down if they just want to read about a certain part of the world. So since we're writing about Mexico, I'm going to add North America as my first category, if I can spell that right. So North America. And the second option right here, we have the option to add it as a parent category, or we could also add it, it looks like we're adding it as an uncategorized category. But what this does is it allows you to set something as a main category and other categories as a subcategory of that main category. So to repeat this, if we added North America as a parent category, we could come in and select North America in this little drop-down menu, and whatever new category we are adding, it would be a subcategory of North America. So if we selected uncategorized here, North America would be a subcategory under uncategorized. So I want to set this as a parent category. I'm going to add that as a new category, and it's going to select it by default. And I'm going to add a new category under North America. So I want people to be able to refine this even further and search by country within the region. So I'm going to add Mexico, and rather than adding it as a parent category, so it'll be selected under all of those, I want to add it as a child or a subcategory of North America. So as I'm adding this, it's also selecting it by default, but you can see it's appearing under North America. So it's technically both of these, but they can refine it even further from North America. And maybe this is a little confusing at first, but I think it'll start to make more sense as you go along and more sense as you start to use it. And you also have this tab here, so you could use most used categories if there's something you're always writing about. It's just a quick way, maybe if you have a lot you've added, to sort through these. So I'm going to switch back to all categories. And as you're starting your blog and you want to start by adding a lot of categories that you know you're going to use, then you could also come over here on the sidebar in your dashboard and click on this option to add categories, and it'll allow you to do it one by one without adding specifically any posts to those categories yet. So now that we have our categories right below here, we also want to come here and add some tags. And tags are basically keywords or subjects inside of your blog that people might search for to find your content. So to see what this means, let's take a look at our reader and see how this applies. So I'm going to come down here to our little WordPress symbol, and we can click on the second option to go back to our reader, which I just middle mouse button clicked that so I can open it in a new tab. And if you remember earlier in this course, I wanted to find posts that were similar to what I'm writing about. So I searched for tags to kind of find relevant content to what I was looking for, and I searched for food and travel. And this is exactly what we're adding here to our blog post. We're trying to think of things people might search for to read something like our article. So we're going to help them find it. And in fact, if you don't add these tags, then it's not going to show up under these results when people search for them. So it's an incredibly good idea to go in and add some tags, even if it's optional, even if you don't feel like doing it. It's going to help your content get found a lot more often. So I'm going to go over here to this first tab, go back to our Edit Post tab, and let's start to add some tags to help people find our content. There's no fast rule here. I would aim for around 5, more if it makes sense. But at least I think 5 is a good amount, and it should be pretty easy for most posts to add at least that many. So for mine, since I search for food and travel, I'm going to start by adding those as my tags. You could also add multiple words here. So for example, Mexican food is a tag. You can see that works as well. So just anything here that really makes sense to you. So I'm going to type in Oaxaca, cuisines, delicacies, things like that. Maybe exotic, since we're talking about exotic food here. And you can see just by adding a couple, we have like 7 now. And if you're struggling to come up with more than a couple, then I would look through and just kind of think of synonyms for things you've already added. Think of different ways to say the same thing, since different people have different vocabularies and different ways they think of things, and you might be more likely to hit on what multiple people might search for. So that can help you add those tags there. And now that we've added our categories and our tags, as I'm looking through here, I think we pretty much have everything we need to start to publish our post and make it live on our blog. So that's what we're going to do in our next lesson when we learn how to publish and preview our posts.